Hi all, welcome back to the second video of 38th module on behavior therapy, techniques, key concepts and process. The learning objective of this video is to acquire knowledge on the techniques of behavior therapy. Now coming to the techniques, behavior therapists practice a varied techniques and procedures like cognitive behavior modification, self-management and self-control, self-efficacy, participant modeling, assertiveness training, systematic desensitization and token economy. Coming to the cognitive behavior modification, this theory was given by Meichenbaum in 1977. Cognitive behavior modification is a form of self-control therapy. People can learn to take control of their lives. This theory puts forward certain points that people have a set of beliefs or cognitive structures that influences their reactions to events in relation to their inner speech and inner thought. The cognitive structures and inner speech regulate people's behavior. The therapy emphasizes restructuring faulty cognitive structures, altering inner speech so that coping behaviors are generated. Coming to the self-management and self-control, Koffer, Bandura and Meichenbaum are the important people connected with self-management and self-control. Self-management and self-control are the processes that help clients become their own managers for behavior change. Support and knowledge about behavioral management is provided by the therapist in the process, and the client takes up the charge of implementing and carrying out the program. To promote self-management and self-control, various skills can be used. Skills identified by Koffer are self-monitoring, establishing rules by conducting contracting, obtaining environmental support, self-evaluating, and generating reinforcing consequences for behaviors that promote the goals of self-control. Similarly, self-control skills were described by Wilson also in the year 1989, such as progressive relaxation to reduce stress, biofeedback to treat psychophysiological disorders, and self-instructional training for control of anger, impulsivity, and other coping problems. Coming to the self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is a theory developed by Bandura. Self-efficacy is the belief of a person on his or her ability to accomplish a certain specific task. Self-efficacy is not considered as a behavioral technique but rather viewed as an idea to be deliberated during implementation of a technique. Self-efficacy theory has been an inspiration for various research activities. It has been found that self-efficacy is a significant predictor of behaviors like depression, recovery from heart problems, performance in sports, and weight reduction. Literature survey has shown that self-efficacy predicts the differences in the degree to which people choose, present, and succeed in carrying out directed behaviors. Coming to the participant modeling is based on Bandura's social learning theory, which emphasizes the role of observation and imitation in learning. Participant modeling is used mainly to treat fears and phobias. It involves two stages, namely observation and participation. During the observation stage, the client observes a model engaged in the feared behavior. During the participation stage, the client is seen participating or engaging in the feared behavior. During this process, the counselor guides the client through a series of exercises relating to feared tasks. Coming to the assertiveness training. Assertiveness training can be used for clients who find it difficult to stand up for their rights or who are unable to express their feelings in a constructive manner. Rim and Cunningham has come up with steps involved in assertive training. First step is to determine the need for assertiveness training. Secondly, it explains the benefits of increased assertiveness, and the third step is the process of behavioral rehearsal. This is an important step because during behavioral rehearsal, the therapist models an assertive behavior and the client should rehearse the assertive behavior, and the feedback as well as suitable reinforcement is provided. Coming to the systematic desensitization. This technique was developed by Wolf to treat problems resulting from classical conditioning such as phobias. Other maladaptive behaviors, including excessive fears about issues such as death, injury, and sex, can also be treated using this techniques. Steps in systematic desensitization techniques are: teach deep relaxation. Systematic desensitization utilizes the principles counter conditioning by introducing a relaxation response. It is based on the assumption that a person cannot be anxious and relaxed at the same time. The client is taught to experience deep relaxation when a relaxing scene is being described. Secondly, develop a hierarchy. A hierarchy of situation is formulated by the client and the therapist together to bring out a fear response. The situation that creates the lowest level of anxiety is the first item in the hierarchy, and the one that creates the highest level of anxiety is the last item in the hierarchy. It is important that the statements have to be specific enough that the client will be able to visualize the situation. Thirdly, proceed through the hierarchy. The client is made to go into a state of deep relaxation. Then the client is asked to imagine the first item in the hierarchy. By presenting a relaxation response to a situation, the client is helped to become desensitized by the counter conditioning process. Fourthly, address the fear in vivo. This step involves desensitizing the client to in vivo or real fear situations associated with the fears. For example, if the client has a snake phobia, an item on the hierarchy may be to imagine looking at a snake. During the in vivo experience, the client will be asked to look at the real snake. Lastly, follow up and evaluate. The final step is to evaluate the client's success in dealing with the fear response in a variety of situations over an extended period of time. The last one, token economy. Elion and Azrin in 1968 developed the technique of token economy. This has been used mostly in the hospitals, residential settings, and schools. The technique is based on the principle of operant conditioning and involves giving token to reinforce a desired behavior. After collecting enough tokens, clients can exchange them for goods or privileges. Progressively, to increase motivation, the token must be slowly removed and replaced by social reinforcers such as encouragement. This will enable clients to maintain newly acquired behaviors after they leave the treatment setting. In this video, we have discussed briefly about some of the techniques of behavior therapy. In the next video, we will see the key concepts and process of behavior therapy. Thank you.